It's early morning raining, and I'm sitting here thinking. It's crazy to me that it seems, notice how I say seems, that many of us live in a world where the most valuable thing that we have to offer is our physicality, our body. Someone recently made a comment to me. Well, it wasn't directly to me, but I interceded because I heard what she said. And I said, hey, wait a second. That's not true. She said that all men are pigs. I said, hey, wait a second. You can't make that generality. You can't speak for all of humanity. All men aren't to be viewed equally. Of course, we fundamentally have that same equality as expressions of divinity. Our inherent birthright as human beings, our divine inheritance is such that we have access to ever higher levels of awareness, to infinite intelligence and superconsciousness, and these spiritual labels which point to something beyond the temporal, everyday, ordinary, 5-century human experience. But we don't want to get hung up on labels, but simply be aware from within a higher context and identify with that context. And so when she said that all men are pigs, something within me had to say, hey, wait a second, because I'm observing this and this is nonsense. Just to bring it to her awareness that, hey, I'm standing right here and I'm not a pig. And when I told her that, I said, hey, you can't make that generality, speak for all of men. And she said, well, all men I've met are pigs. I said, that's a fair statement. That's a little bit closer to the truth. But actually, you're standing in front of a man right now, and this one is not a pig. So I had to explain to her. I didn't have to. Something within me wanted to. That, hey, just because all men that you've met are not met, but have had intimate connections with, or relations with, only wanted one thing out of you, going to the beginning of the video, your body. Just because a lot of men think like that doesn't mean that I do. Doesn't mean that there aren't people in the world, men in the world, that think with this head, that have that strong sense of desire, but direct it, transmute it towards something higher. And another woman, I'll say girl because real women don't make these kind of statements. She said, oh, I hate men. And then the next day, I heard her say that she wants 5 kids. And so something within me had to say, hey, wait a second. You just said yesterday that you hate men. And today you're saying you want 5 kids. So how do you expect to attract, in modern lingo, a high-value man? Someone that can give you these kids. Is ideally, a woman wants someone not just to have kids, but someone that they're going to connect with and have a future with, right? Someone that will spend their whole life with them, to share with them, not just to get something out of them, some kids or money or whatever. But a high-value woman will think in terms of a lifelong connection, making a vow, seeing the relationship as symbolic. seeing Christ as the bride or groom, where they're one. They come together as one, as the same body, unified in Christ, Jesus, or whatever we want to call the energetic essence of life. Seeing everything as an exchange of the same fundamental life energy. And so when you come together in unity, that can be a profoundly beautiful connection. Not when you want to extract something from somebody. Not when you think that this person can give you something that you don't already have. That this person, or whatever it is, this thing, this object, can complete you. When you come together and you're both already whole, yes, that's beautiful. So just to loop back, I had to bring it to her attention. Hey, wait a second, you're contradicting. You're confusing. You're not making sense. You're making contradicting comments. And she said, well, that's why they have sperm banks. Saying she hates men one day, and the next day saying that she wants 5 kids. The very next day. And I said, hey, it doesn't make sense. She said, well, let's go to a sperm bank. I said, that's absolutely crazy to me. Unreal. Men selling their life essence for a little bit of pocket change. Selling the seed of life, their masculine essence, the light, for something that is temporary. A little bit of money. How's that going to benefit you spiritually? It's not. And I made that comment. I said, that's absolutely crazy to me, man. Men doing that. And she said, what, you don't want kids? I said, no. No hesitation. I do not want kids. And this is not about what I want. What inspires this video is not about what Alex wants. What this person wants. Because persona literally means mask. A lot of people don't get that. This comes from a different place within. And a lot of people who accomplish great things walk alone. And they're led from within. Their own inspiration. Guided by their own ideas. And they don't even claim them. They don't think, hey, that thought's mine. That thought's me. But they see that really, it arises from a certain level of consciousness. They identify with context, with consciousness itself, and with the essence which animates, which even allows for thoughts to take place. What is the light that animates? And so I make this video for relatability because seeing clearly, it seems that much of humanity is still entrenched in the worldly thinking, worldly minded people, individuals, thinking in terms of what they can get out of life and not seeing the broader context. You want to see that what you have to give and bring to the table and offer, no matter what you've been through, you have something to offer, to contribute. I've made this clear with my personal story and personal history, where I've been very clear about my dirty laundry. Watching pornography on a daily and getting locked up, going to jail, drug dealing. All these things, which I'm not going to reiterate here. But just to show, hey, you can have a past. but don't carry that with you today. That's very obvious to some of us, but still some of us don't get that. They carry a heavy weight, a burden with them, and it doesn't have to be like that. You don't have to give your past the label trauma, because that trauma has nothing to do with now, today, unless you haven't sorted through it, done the inner spiritual work, allow that to rise within you, to sort through, to release, to let go of the emotions and negative energies associated with those ideas in consciousness. Fundamentally, everything is an idea. All that we perceive around us. What is animating us right now? It's an idea. And what is the essence that gives that idea life? What is the energy that allows that idea to manifest? It is the light. Everything is due to desire, in other words. And it's the energy of desire. When you can have things and accept things in relation to the higher, the most high, without any attachment for them, saying that, I have all these things. I'm blessed with abundance. I have a house. I have a job. I have a wonderful family, people that I can relate to and share with. Yes, I'm blessed. I have all of these things, but at the same time, there's no attachment to them. That's a highly evolved entity. I won't say person. To be able to hold things, compartmentalize them within a certain context where they're not limited in consciousness. In other words, they're still here, grounded, 10 toes down, holding it down. And at the same time, their head is in the halo of heaven. They've transcended. We could say the worldly vibration. They hold it down because love. Love is the sole reason, basis for the continuance of physical existence. Without love, without an open heart, it seems like a lot of darkness on earth. But with love, it gives you a reason to keep on keeping on. See, love and feeling and reason, they go together. As man thinketh in his heart, so he is. And so this is. So this video is. 1333, divine synchronicity. Things that are within the field of your attention, they show up as revelation, as synchronicity, as the divine telling you to keep going. You're on the path. Don't give up. And you see these synchronicities more and more so on a daily when you're committed spiritually. As you see clearly that everything is really a mere reflection of your own mentality. That all is mind, the one mind. And thus, all is divine, because all is an emanation of the divine mind, which ultimately transcends time. And so, you don't drag your past along with you. Sometimes the pressure builds up within you, so much so that you want to sneeze, or that you feel a sneeze coming, but you stop it before you release it. because you have that inner energetic control over your own energy system, where instead of releasing the sneeze, the pressure, the energy in back of that outwardly, you transmute it upwardly into the energy centers above the human body, above the head. I think that's all that wanted to be said. I hope this brings value to you. God bless.